Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Leo. I just did the combination that is opposite of that, and so some of the attributes will seem similar, but there will be slightly different ways that these are expressed. We can talk about what these two signs have in common, and that is that they're both fire signs. So, because the sun and the moon exert so much influence over the basic personality altogether, suffice it to say, somebody with a double fire energy is going to be quite dramatic, expressive. That's what I mean by dramatic. And, can get heated up sometimes. But when we look at the sun, we're looking at the aspirational self, and so that delves more into the goals and what the person wants to accomplish in their life. And so with Sagittarius, there is a real love of knowledge at the abstract level, whereas the opposite sign, Gemini, is very into mundane knowledge, or knowledge that deals with the world. Sagittarius does rule the house of advanced learning, or we would call it higher learning. But even that to me is mundane a lot of times, when it is more of the different subjects and how they, if people are taking courses in order to obtain a degree for a job, to me that's more of a mundane type of training or knowledge. And I'm referring to what higher learning was supposed to be higher order learning, meaning that the person, it's more like thinking for oneself. See, I'm not going to get into a diatribe about, what's going on in universities these days. That doesn't seem to fall in alignment with that. But what I'm trying to say is that when it is done correctly, that is what it means to be learning at a higher level. It's not just being fed information, but it's being able to take information in and then draw your own conclusions, because you're bringing your own reasoning abilities. And this is the ninth house is the house of philosophy. So there is that connection with all kinds of philosophies in the ways that we live life. So a person who's a Sag, they can run the gamut. I'm sure there are Sagittarians who are atheists. Not all Sagittarians are going to be religious. Some may just think it's a joke. Jim Morrison was a Sag, and I just learned that he didn't believe in astrology. He thought that was a joke. And I don't even know if he believed in religion. He was an intellectual, and he was a Sagittarian, but some people are very humanistic, and they just don't believe in anything supernatural. Some people, are very reliant on the world and the experts of the world to tell them what to do. But with Sagittarius as a whole, there's going to usually be a philosophical construct that guides that person, and it's very important to that person. They may not even think about it too much, but they just have it. And that's why I say even atheists are really thinking about life and being critical about certain belief systems that they don't feel really support a rational life, maybe. But they're at least thinking about their life. And that's what Sagittarius and the ninth house are all about. So the reason I'm taking so much time talking about that is that there is a difference between Sagittarius and Leo, even and Aries, the other fire sign. They're all fire signs, but they're all approaching life differently. With Leo, we're talking about the moon sign, so we're talking about more of the emotional nature. The emotional nature simply is the way that a person reacts to life. With Leo, there is sometimes an overreaction, especially in the moon position, because I personally see the moon as challenging and maybe the dark side of each sign. I call it the shadow self, the shadow side. So the shadow side of Leo is arrogance, conceit, and attention-seeking tendencies. But remember that when we're trying to get our emotional needs met, this can be coming from trauma. A person who is feeling a certain way and they think that they need something from somebody else is reacting to trauma and trying to get their needs met. So if a Leo person felt ignored growing up, or maybe they were given a lot of attention but in the wrong ways, that can lead to seeking it in adulthood. Sometimes I wonder, and I don't know if this would be true of Leo moon per se, but it's possible that it could be anything, sun, moon, or rising sign, if the Leo person was the golden child of a narcissist, because I feel like with the moon in Leo, the child may have a narcissistic mother, and therefore, and sometimes narcissists will, if they have more than one child, they will favor one over another, and they will hold up that child as infallible, perfect, the one that they want to help out, promote. And so imagine that you are the golden child and you grow up and all of a sudden you're just like anybody else, or you realized you were used. Now, let's talk about this influence of the mother. The mother may not be a literal Leo, but she may have these tendencies that are like a Leo person. Now, does it have to be all bad? No. Maybe the mother encouraged you to be creative. Maybe the mother didn't demand that you become an engineer and said, "Oh no, I think you should become an actress. You are an actor. You are talented in that area." These kinds of things are not minor things. They can make all the difference between an adult child who feels like they are accepted for kind of going off the beaten path and one who doesn't feel that way. But if you have had a challenging experience with your mother, it's possible that she is or was an overbearing person. She may have tried to fulfill her own ego needs through you. This is the classic stage mother putting the child in pageants or some other thing to show off. This is all about gaining attention. Whenever there's a need to gain attention, that is a powerless state because it's where the ego is in full force. And when I say ego, I'm talking about the toxic, uh, illusory ego. I sometimes use the word ego to mean something positive, meaning the separate self, which exists. You know, we're part of the collective soul, but we also have individual souls. So we have our own destinies and having our own talents in certain areas. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with showcasing that and being proud of the talents that you possess. So, it's possible that this type of person, was raised by a parent who may have recognized those talents, but it was almost like an exploitation. They were trying to make you into something that suited them instead of really allowing you to unfold in your own time, and also to do it for your sake, not to please the mother or anything like that. Um, for some reason, I was thinking of Judy Garland, which is totally it's not totally random, but she's not, a moon in Leo or a sun in Sagittarius. But I think I was thinking about people that come from show business families where the parents are also entertainers and the child kind of just is born into that environment. And how do they separate out themselves from this family business? It gets a little bit convoluted. And I was wondering if Judy Garland ever had those issues. I have a feeling that somebody like Judy Garland, probably because they were so talented themselves, that it was never much of an issue because they probably enjoyed it too. Not all people in that position would have, but the ones who are really immortalized, they're immortalized because they're so talented, or they were so talented. So this combination, I sometimes when I do any type of reading, I'm like, why did I, harp on a certain point? And I think it's because there is going to be, with this combination, I think there's going to be the soul of the performer coming from the moon position. So being in Leo, certainly Sag can be a performer. There's no question about that. But there's something even more so with Leo, because Leo rules the fifth house, and it's the house of creativity. And besides, it's in the moon position. And the moon is really about creation. It's the mother, okay? And also nurturing one's creations and talent. So there may be, in some cases, a conflict about what the person wants to do, because there may be multiple things that you want to do and you don't know quite where to start. I would say that if you have always been drawn to performance of some type, if you've always been on the stage, like in high school or elementary school, and we're in plays and stuff like that, then your heart is in the theater or up on stage, maybe as a singer, whatever it is that you do. And you should certainly not just push that away if you think that it's a very unpredictable kind of a life. Usually, somebody who's double fire, that's not their first concern. Their first concern may be more of whether that's what they want, because with fire, there's a passion, and so the person has to feel that they're really passionate about that particular path. And they might like it, but it might be more of a hobby for certain people. But with Sag, there's a serious quality. The person can be quite philosophical to the point of even wanting to have a career in something spiritual, religious. And with the moon in Leo, this may require, not just be recommended, but be required, that you are able to do something where you teach people in a very public kind of way. So you may become, I wouldn't, necessarily say a guru or anything like that, but you may teach classes in spiritual topics or be like a yoga teacher where you can, be in front of an audience, but also teach spiritual ideas to other people. And Even just like as a regular teacher, you would be a natural. With the moon in Leo, you may favor younger children because that would be more like the fifth house that Leo rules is about children, but children to me are under the age of 13 or so. I mean, full blown children, I should say, early childhood. And I had said this also for Leo because there is such a strong affinity with Leo to children. But with Sagittarius, there is like this moralistic component where you want to teach children the way the kind of the ethical side of life. And so if you want to nurture a class, it's also to get them also interested in multiple things. Sag is a mutable sign, so it has many interests. This is a great combination for people who want to help other people become more positive and achieve things in their life. I mentioned this with the Leo Sag combination as well. Leo tends to be a great leader, but even when Sag is at the helm with the sun in Sagittarius, Sag is very inspirational, philosophical, and can put things in a higher perspective so that people do not focus on the mundane reality and then get um, feeling down because something isn't working out in their life. Sag can kind of show them the bigger picture, and then that allows the individual to feel more inspired. And with the moon in Leo, the person exudes a certain confidence that is going to, and warmth really, that it helps to nurture others in a certain way. As far as the relationship area goes, both of these signs, being fire signs, really need a partner who is fun, is is going to give them a long leash, is not going to try to be too possessive. But sometimes, because the fire energy can be very childlike, there might be a tendency to be, I don't want to just go out and say, irresponsible or something like that, but not really thinking ahead. Um, Fire is very spontaneous. And so there might be a tendency also with money to be kind of very free spending, which can be nice if you want to benefit from a double fire sign's generosity, but it can lead them to overspend. So sometimes opposites attract, and especially if you as a Sag have inner planets in either Capricorn, like Venus in Capricorn or Venus in Scorpio, or Mars can be there too, you may be attracted to people who are more conservative and serious about these matters. Oh my gosh. When I said that, something happened with my glass. Um, and so that kind of thing is going to sometimes lead you to be attracted to very grounded people, very good with money types of people, practical. But then you have to watch out for whether or not you vibe with them romantically and if you have enough in common with them. If they are too morose or too serious, too materialistic or something like that, then that's not going to work either. So you have to be very aware of the type of person that you're getting involved with so that you can have a relationship that works for you on multiple levels, you know? So that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.